All right, welcome to the Talent to Learning Show. We're off to see a demonstration now from Gyrus Solutions. Viren, take it away.
All right, thank you, John. So again, as you can see, this is our login screen. Of course, if you're using single sign-on, you won't see this screen. So, obviously, we have those features built into it. So when you come in, you have an ability to customize your login page. I'm going to log in as an administrator now. You have your standard forgot password, sign up, all those things are built into it. So let's go ahead and sign in as an administrator. So as soon as you sign in, our dashboard is designed. We recognize that training administrators are very busy. They need to make sure they're in and out, for what they need to do. So we design our dashboard with a quick setup. So we know that, some of the key things are, I need to make sure all the employees are there where it needs to be. So you can verify that very quickly. All the training in one place, as well as the reporting. So these are the three things, those are important for administrator. You can easily build out, your quick setup that way. We design our LMS and our dashboards. We have throughout the application, you'll see 3 dots, meaning that I can customize it, I can rename it. So if I want to change the name to something else, you can do that. If I want to change the, quick links to something else, you can pick what needs to be done. If I want to change the employee to an associate, you can do that too. You don't need to call us for that, right? So you have your quick setup. The entire applications can be, the naming convention can be whatever that you want it to be, right? You have your quick approval, you have your analytics and AI maintenance, as well as your bottom, the graph, which is on your licensing, your core requirement for the training, whether it's job, organization, certificate, or direct assignment, and your certification in there. You also have an ability to flip to a learner view. We recognize that sometimes you deployed, you might want to test it out. You don't need to get out. You can just go ahead and do that. We also have a built-in wizard that can guide you through that. Online help that comes with it. You can open all your KBs here, as well as an ability to open a support ticket directly from your LMS for administrator. So we make their life a little easier from there. Of course, you have your calendar. So you can see the entire calendar. You can hover it. You can see when it schedules and, just makes it easier. I'm just going to click on here so you get an idea. It gives you a good preview in terms of your training that has been set up, how many availability you can enroll, you can use staff, you can do that. You can see what is the setup of the classroom setup, who the instructor are, as well as, all your location is with a Google map in there. So all there are built-ins in there, okay? Of course, I want to touch on the profile, which is, we built it in a way, we recognize that we also introduced QR code. So each and every employee has a unique QR code assigned to them. They will become handy as a different type of things. And we are using mobiles and different things in there. It just makes it a little easier. Of course, you have a 17+ different languages. So you can pick, different languages based on that. And of course, we recognize that global, if you want to change the date format from MMDD to DDYY, or etc., you can go ahead and do that. Of course, all other settings from Teams and all those things are in there. All right. Let me go and jump into a configuration. We'll touch on that a little bit. So configuration is also designed in a way that we recognize that you may not need to do configurations all the time, but initially when you come in, it's all in one place. Let me give you an example of one of them. So what does it look like? So you have a consistent experience and easy to use. So you pick a themes that you like. You can upload your logos. You can have a background. You can write up all those things in there. And of course, same goes for your languages, and all those things are in here. You can go ahead and do that, right? If you have an advanced feature, something like single sign-on and all that, that can be done right here as well. And you have a different marketplace as well. I want to show you one other things on the configurations. System comes with a 4 standard roles and permission, about 200+ different permissions. But 4 standards, but you can create as many as you wanted, and giving permission is simple as clicking, from there. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. Of course, 21 CFR is also in here. You can enable it and you can do that. And single sign-on, we support 3 types of ADFS, Auth 2.0, and SAML. John, are there any questions so far?
Yeah, just a quick one from an educational standpoint. 21 CFR, Part 11. What are the type of capabilities that come with that?
Sure. Good question. So 21 CFR, obviously, it gives you a capability for your e-signature. So not only we authenticate and authorize, but also e-signature for your event. And what we do is you have an ability to define each events that you want to track that for e-signature. And we have a 40 events that we have defined within our LMS that you can deem that as where e-signature is required. So for example, if somebody's updating a courses, you can do that. Somebody's taking e-learning and you want to make sure that you verify that. You can do all those things and more actually. So a lot of flexibility for 21 CFR. Of course, standard emails in terms of managing the PIN, as well as the event and ability to configure that. So we automate all of those things as part of the 21 CFR.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good question. And same thing, we also have the SF-182 from the government side too. We manage that. Great. Let's go into training setup first. So from a training setup perspective, I'll hit a plus sign. So we support 12 types. You have your e-learning. So that is your SCORM, AICC, XAPI. You can import them in there. Now you can even import PDF in here and keep in track how much time you have spent and all that. You can do that. Same thing with MP4 as well. We also support document type. There are 27 formats that we support. This includes all your Office products. This includes EPUB, PDF, different types of documents, images, all that you can import. Anything typically people do is read and acknowledge, right? Type of things. They have a current content that they want to use. Those use cases are very powerful in there. External link. We recognize that sometimes you may not be ready to upload your document in LMS because you have a central repository. A lot of time people have SOPs in their central repository. Well, guess what? You can have your deep links, create a training based off that. So users will go and take the training with the right authority over there. You can also use YouTube and Venmo and all those things as well. Of course, instructor-led training, we support not only ILT, but we also support the entire resource management, meaning that you have your conference room, you have your consumable, non-consumable resources, you have your virtual documents. Think of it as a job aid documents. You can go ahead and do that. All of those are supported, and we do conflict management in real time. So we make sure the resources are available when you need them. And by the way, we are building additional capability on scheduling, especially for our heavily regulated industry, very complex scenarios. Assessments, you can tie assessment to any of the training as well as standalone. And your learning path. So learning path is, think of it as a curriculum, module 1, module 2, module 3, those type of things. You can do it sequentially or non-sequence. And then, of course, we have a full integrations with MS Teams, Slack, Zoom, Skype, GoToMeeting, and Adobe Connect, So it just makes it so easy so admin doesn't have to go and send a separate email on the registration and then making sure that they show up on the same meeting. It's all, you can just do it within the LMS, and calendar request will go to the user and it will have a link built into it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about what it means to integrate with Slack for an educational purpose here.
Yeah, very, very good. So I think, we recognize that people use different platforms for different things for collaboration. So anytime you have a Slack video or Slack meeting set up, as long as you enter the credentials within our LMS as an admin, you can have a scheduled Slack meeting kick off from your LMS, and they will get those meeting requests. And you also have an ability to record there as a training and sign off on that. So you don't have to have two separate steps in there, right? So it just makes it a lot more easier. All your recordings in one place, scheduling in one place, and all your people in terms of where you need that. Because I think during COVID, we all learned that people were doing all those things separately and then going and maintaining it on the separate systems. You don't need to do that. It's all built in within that. Okay. Good question. Good question. Let me show you one of the training. We'll pick up eLearning. So in this case, we have already created a training, and see those three dots. Think of it as a hot links, right? I can hover through and see you can edit them, you can assign them, you can manage the enrollment, you can get additional details about this training, or you can delete them. Let's go ahead and hit edit over here. So what we try to do, we get all different type of customers, right? Some are what we say, they are on the 5th or 6th LMS, and some they are on the 1st LMS. So what we try to do is we balance our UI and the experience that is consistent, right? So for the new folks, of course, we help them in terms of what they need to complete, and the percentage will go up as they continue to do that. For the advanced, they don't, they can just continue to focus on what needs to be done. But obviously, you can define your courses. You have the ability to define your training group. If a system comes with a built-into training group, if you find it's not in there, all you do is plus sign, add it yourself. You can have your own group. Your SCORM file, all you do is drag and drop here. Let me do a preview. So it just gives them a preview without kicking off, the enrollment. So this is a nice way to just kind of verify your content beforehand. You also have ability to, if you want to require an approval, all that. Some of these fields over here, certificate and others we created, they are there only if you need it. Of course, your templates can be done. System comes with the 3 templates. You can modify them as needed. And you can put in your goals, summaries, and notes as needed. Of course, if you want to assign any job aid documents, you can like expert, etc. You can do that. You also have your prerequisite. You can assign any prerequisite if need be. In a course catalog, you have an option to display in a course catalog, and when do you want to do that? You also have additional capability to saying, who get to see these courses. So if you want to have this courses is only for certain department, all you do is here, and only that department will see that, and not everyone will see that, right? Sometimes people have internal and external. This is a nice way to do that. Only if you mark as an external, none of your employee will see that in a course catalog, of course. System comes with a standard email. You don't have to worry about it. So, whether it's approval, enrollment, completion, cancellations, reminder, system go ahead and do that. Think of this way for my automations. You do this once as a template, and you can forget about it, and this will be, automatically will run that year over year. Okay. This is the new features that we added. It's called homework modules. So you have an ability. A lot of time we recognize that people want to collaborate, right? So with their instructor, in terms of different things, and they want to make sure that not only, of course, you can always do evaluation and survey at the end, but during the, the training phase, you might want to say, try this, upload a video. So this is where you can do, we can sort of, you can upload a video, and you can say, 2 minutes video that you can go ahead and do that. We allow you to do that. You can associate your homework, so everybody will get a notifications. You can upload it. And this is a next level of collaborations between instructor and the learner, right? So this one, talk about interactiveness, and it's no longer just watch the video and take the assessment. This is a lot more than that. In a real time, you can do that. And you can do it with your laptop camera or your mobile smartphone, etc. All are supported in there. All right, let me go to the next one. So this is where you define an objectives. This is where you have your skills that you define. You can also define how you can do the evaluation of your training that will take place. So you can have a scored, or you can have a single tier, as well as if you want to have a multi-tier, you can do that as well. And your minimum scores, this is where you can put that. You can add an assessment to that. So in this case, when I have an ability, I can look at all my question banks. And the one that I selected, that can be all those questions come together, they will be randomized. So you don't have to worry about people getting the same question over and over again. You can put that as a countdown, you can allow partial save, all those things are built into that, right? Of course, you can do the survey as well. So after saying, hey, how was the content? How was the instructor? Did you get what you needed? So you can do that as well. So in this case, we have done that. Let's go to the next. This is the power of automations, right? So not only we saying, when do you want to assign it? Is it immediate by specific date or higher date? But also reoccurring requirement. So is this one time? Does it repeat every 12 months? Or is it just you take this, never expires? And this is a really good one. The course version change, right? Kind of thing. We recognize that you may need to change your content, 6 months, a year. You can go ahead and do that. And if you just flip that course version change, you have an ability to, just upload the content and forget about it, worrying about reassignment. You can assign it based on the job. And of course, you can mix and match any of those based on the job, based on the organizations. And you can look at it on the organization saying, you know what, I'm going to have it for department 1 and 2. You can also have external users. All those things can be supported, right? You can go in and say, you know what, maybe it's only for customer 1. So a lot of flexibility around that. And you don't have to worry about remembering all those rules. You can just see it's just point and click, from there. Just makes it a lot more easier and repeatable. You can also directly assign to the end users. You can say, you know what, I'm just going to assign this training to this individual. So assignment is pretty straightforward and easy. From there, you can keep in track of who have the attain the training. You can manage the enrollment from here. We understand that sometimes admin needs to jump in and cancel the enrollment or complete the enrollment, so they have a flexibility to do that. We also have a built-in analytics. We recognize that sometimes you may not want to run all the reports, right? You just want to see this one particular thing, how is it going? What is the progress in there? You can go ahead and do that. And of course, history will tell you the audits, who changed it, when they changed it, how they changed it. All those things are in there, because which are important from a compliance perspective. That is a quick overview, one of the training. Of course, they all look the same in terms of from a process perspective. We try to make it simple and making sure that they have a consistent experience when they go from different types of training. Question, John?
No, that's I see a lot of progress since the last time I've seen the solution, but it's nice and clean and easy to follow, and certainly very, very powerful.
Good.
So not a question as much as a comment.
Right. Wonderful. So let me jump into a reporting. So reporting, obviously we break it into 2 major groups, training and management. We recognize that, and we continue to enhance this capability, right? Kind of things. So you can also make it favorite. And then we also have a custom report. You can create your own reporting. This is an advanced feature. You don't have to have it, but if you want it, and it's built into it, there is no extra costs in it. You can also create your separate, certificates and templates and etc. Let me go to my favorite, right? Kind of things. So I'm going to pull 1 or 2 reports so you get an idea. So these are my favorites. I can just go in and Of course, you can view it, you can change it. If you want to change any of this naming convention, you can do that. Of course, favorite or etc. You can go ahead and do that. Let's run that report. A lot of changes on the reporting front as well, and we continue to have more additional changes coming up. But obviously, you just pick the date parameters, and of course, your training groups, enrollment status, training type, and training. I'm just going to take the lazy approach and just say select all, right? Kind of things, and just give me a preview. So, obviously, you have your standard reports in terms of enrollments, in terms of starting, ending date, but it's powerful enough that you can export it in any way you want. PDF, Excel, RTF, Word doc, text, CSV, image, you can do that. So a lot of things, flexibility around that, what you need to. It gives you really, really powerful way to get all your data in one place. You can also look at e-learning usage. Sometimes you just want to know how much time people have spent, right? Kind of things. So it gives you really a nice snapshot, total time spent, how many users, number of sessions, average sessions, all that good stuff. So you can really make sure from rate of return, there is an engagement there, people are using it, what is working, what is not working. You can really keep in track of. Of course, you can, do a lot of configurations. You can have a logo, watermarks, banner image. You can do all those things. And you can also do a permission, where if you want to give a different permission for different report to different roles, you can do that right here, which is very powerful. Sometimes you may want to give a little bit more to managers, but not so much to employee, but you may have it more for instructor. Lot of flexibility around that. Any question, John, before we move to analytics and AI maintenance?
Oh, let's see it. Let's see it. I'm following.
Okay. All right. So let's go into analytics. Think of analytics. I look at that as a what I will call ROI screens, right? Kind of thing. What have we done in a 1 year, right? Kind of things. A lot of time people just ask, saying, from a training department. And this is a really good summary in terms of, as you hover through, we are telling them how many learner, what is an average per day, right? Average per learner. You can go ahead and do that. You can do a click on here and you can do drill down. You can look at it, how many training for schedule, how many survey were completed, how many assessment, and how people completed the assessment, right? In terms of percentage, 90 to 100, etc. You can look at it, e-learning, enrollment, kind of average enrollment per course. Let me click here on the green side over here. So it will create a report for me, right? Kind of things. I can look at it grid view as well. I can look at chart view. I can even look at further, saying, you know what? I want to look at what's going on in March. Let me click here. And it will tell me in terms of, oh yeah, we had some communications go out and, people, were doing that, right? Those type of, you can export it, but it gives you a really good way for your senior management and the investment they have made and the rate of return they are getting. Very easy to see that, That is on the analytics. Of course, all the managers get the analytics as well for their department, as well as the administrator. Let me show you the AI maintenance. We made a lot of progress in AI maintenance. Everyone talk about AI from a learner perspective, ability to recommend content. We get that, we have that. But I think we also think that using the same tools of rules, we can help admin. For example, so you don't have to run so many different reports. How many employees are unassigned to organization? How many employees not in a job, right? Employee with no activity in 12 months, right? So these are the things that, keep the overall your program clean, nice and tidy kind of things. Something you need to manage your day-to-day job, right? Kind of thing. But training expire in 30 days, and you can take some actions from here, right? Any training that has not been used in 6 months, you might want to evaluate, saying, hey, maybe different content is needed because nobody's taken it, even though elective kind of thing. So those calls you can make very easily, and all your, the data is all in one place, Let me show you one more, in terms of, we have done integrations with Open Sesame and Go One. So let me just show you Open Sesame. You have an ability to import all your content directly from there, right? If anything that you purchase, you can just say, hey, this is the content's updated, this is archived. You can make those, all your contents in one place. You don't have to do anything manually right here. And system will help you do that. Of course, we have, obviously, our notes and all that, because we are SaaS, we recognize that every release that we do, you have an ability to go and see, right, in terms of what was implemented in that release. So you can go ahead and see that. It just makes it easier for administrator, okay? Are there any other questions from an administrator perspective, John?
Super full, but quick question from an AI standpoint, that list on the left that highlighted all the areas that are fixable, how does that, is that predetermined? So those are the 15 things you're looking for and you keep adding to them, or?
Right. So very good question. So we have identified 40 plus events, right? And what we are doing is behind the scene, every day we are running this, making sure it's all updated and current, right? Kind of thing. Are those 40 static? No. As we learn, everyone's behavior and what are important to them, we'll continue to add more events in there, eventually to the point where admin can define their own events, Yeah.
I haven't seen anything like that. I told you that the last time. You're still the only one that has that feature that I've seen so far.
Right. All right, let me jump into a quickly for our manager role. So I'm an administrator, but I'm also a manager. So we have this great screen, we call it Manage My People, and we have made a lot of changes, around that. So this is a one place where manager, it just makes their life easier. We know they have a full-time job. They have to do their own things. They have to manage their employee, and the training. The last thing we want to do is make it more difficult. So all they need to do is when they come here, they can see all their employee, their progress. If any approval is required right here, I can drill down on each one of them, and I can see. And you know what? If I need to have a little kind of nudge my employee, of course, system is doing that. But if as a manager, if I need to nudge it, all I need to do is say, you know what? Hey, Tony, I think you need to take some training. You are running behind. So this email will go out from a manager perspective automatically, and it will notify saying, hey, Tony, finish up your training because you are running a little behind over here. I can look at I can give them an assessment. A lot of time on the job assessment, I can go ahead and do that directly as a manager. I can look at their training transcript. I can look at their development plan, all that in front here. I can also look at it you have a direct and indirect managers. I can do that, right? I can run a report. Those, report can be run over here in regards to my employees and their current progress. Those things are there. And it will tell them in terms of whether they're compliant or not. Just makes it a little easier for managers to do that. Pending approval, nicely laid out. You can see who they are. You can say accept, you can deny, you can even put it on waiting. Waiting is a nice feature. One of our customers, recommended that. You can preview, you can take an external training and you need approval. You can do that all in one place right here. See the homework right here is a manager. I can see the homework, right? So in this case, in terms of the employee uploaded, see right here, I can even download it and I can view it, right? So this is a powerful features. I can also record it, right? That, hey, you did this kind of things, but I'm not sure you may need to do that. In this case, I have a permission for this class, so I can do that, right? So manager can also perform that task as well. So a lot of flexibility for manager, a lot of ways to manage their employee very easily and efficiently. And think of it as a one-stop shop. You don't need to chase them. You don't need to call them. Everything is done automatically for them. Are there any questions on the managers or the administrator before we jump into a learner?
Oh, that looks really good and useful from a manager standpoint. You fit a lot into
Right.
that screen. That
Yeah.
one fella needs to smile though. He looks really serious.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. And of course, we have a built-in ability to pull the data. I'll just touch base for 30 seconds, right? So we recognize that people have data in different places. So your employee, your historical data, your SCORM, you can just import that manually if you want to, but it's a bulk, all your certification, question banks, all that can be imported. So you're not doing anything manually. As long as you have it in a CSV type of format or Excel, you can go ahead and import all those things, just makes it easier. I'll just touch on one so you can see that. Of course, the wizard is there. Once you set up this process, you can see the history, what has been imported, what is not. You have a really good view to keep in track of all your import. You don't have to call IT department or a lot of time to see how many people came in and how many new people added or changed kind of thing. You have a good way to manage that for you. All right, let's jump into, I'm going to log off. We'll stay with the basketball team. I have a Tony Bennett. Although my college won last night, so I'm so happy.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So from a learner perspective, again, quick links, we try to make it easy for them, right? So as a learner, what is my required training? Optional training, course catalog, and my training transcript. You can jump through those very quickly. We also illustrate that, a little bit, below that, saying, you know what, if you just want to focus on what is due right now or overdue, you can go ahead and do that, right? You can look at it based on the training type as well. This is what I have accomplished. Think of my training transcript by different types of training. This is where you have a training that is in progress. And we can tell you in terms of how much progress by percentage over here. Training that has been assigned to me, but I have not started yet, right? And then this is the training that is recommended based on who you are, your job, your organizations, and your profile, right? Of course, badges are all there, right, kind of thing. And badges, we have a lot of flexibility. You can define different badges for multiple events, right? So you can have I wanted to spend X amount of time within this time frame for this type of training. You can do all those things in here. And of course, leaderboard in terms of whoever with the highest points. People always like that. It just creates a little competition for them, Let's go to a required training. We have added additional filters and mechanism so you can easily see, what is there. So in this case, we filter it based on learning path. And let me show you the learning path. Of course, we'll come back to the social learning. So this is a new employee learning path. And we can do sequential or non-sequential. In this case, it's non-sequential. You can jump around if you need it. So, I have completed one. I can just, and you can mix and match. This is a document. This is an ILT. So I can go ahead and view this. And of course, we have a built-in viewer. So even if you're on a smart device or tablet, you don't have to worry about, a different format, a different type of format that you need to worry about. We sort of manage that within our application. All right, let's go to the learning path. And what we try to do is, I call it, red, green, and yellow, which is kind of everyone sort of understand that your training, green mean I am certified. Yellow mean training that I have started, but I have not finished, I'm in process. And then red, I have not started, right, kind of things. And of course, let me just pick one of the e-learning. So in this case, it's data privacy and information security. Of course, I can rank them. I can have a thumbs up, thumbs down. I can sort of put additional comments. I can rate them. I can go ahead and do that. All those are built in. I can make it favorite. I can add it as my playlist as well. And we'll show you that. So let's you get an idea in terms of how the e-learning plays out. So obviously, I'm not finishing. So it basically is telling me training status is incomplete, and put me back where I was. So I'm still in a yellow status for that training. And you have all different filters, right? In terms of not started, in progress, just makes it really easy for learner to go and find what they need to do. I can have different groups, ratings, 5-star, 1-star, you can go ahead and search. E-commerce is there as well. So if you have a paid courses, you can go ahead and do that as well, okay? Let me show you training transcript, and then we'll jump into assessments and some other things. So obviously, I can do a quick search. I can have a static filter. In this case, clear, concise. I can preview my content again without triggering an enrollment. I can look at the details. I can look at my certificate in terms of what I have accomplished. It just makes it easier. I think a lot of people like the fact that you can you need a refresher. I don't need to take the courses. So ability to preview that content without triggering the enrollment, people really like that, This feature is really nice. The print training transcript, it gives them a one snapshot in a way for the entire training, what they are, and they are nicely color coded. And people find it very, very helpful. So from a learner perspective, we want to make it easy for them. They are in and out, and they can learn what they need to without spending a whole lot of time in there, okay? Gap analysis is another powerful feature. So based on the job, you can select different jobs, right? I'm going to click accounting and finance. So if I'm thinking of changing, so it'll tell me, you know what, you need to take this type of training to have your gap from one job to another job. I can do the same type of analysis based on the certification. I can do that on the organizations too. So if I'm changing the whole department, if I'm going from accounting to if I'm going to the operations role, you can go ahead and see what are your core training requirements. So once you set it up, it just makes it so easy for employee to do what if analysis, for their career development. So they don't have to wait for their manager to say, okay, let's do this kind of thing. They can do that and they can be proactive. Just makes it so easy for them. Of course, your assessment, are driven by what needs to take place. You can look at it, what you have done, right? And you can how you did in your attempt, right? You can go back and you have a history of all those things in there. If you need to take an assessment, all you do is take the action. This one is, sorry, it's not set up right. Okay, but you can, let me see if this one. So you can go ahead and do that. This is part of the e-learning. So you need to be, it's only available when you complete your training, right? So you have two ways to go and look at it. So you can look at both ways. We also have a self-reported training. So we recognize that you need to go externally, take some training. So I'll show you the plus sign. You can go ahead and enter all your data, and you have a choice. You can have a manager approve them. You can also upload a certificate directly over here. So you have a one repository, you don't have to worry about it. And it's all in a one central place, okay? We have a one nice feature we call it My Doc. Think of this way, it can also become a repository where you can share your job aid type of documents, whether it's private, limited share, public share. You have a lot of flexibility around that. You can also bring in your documents from Dropbox, Google Drive, or OneDrive, one place. So you don't have to have everything in our LMS, but we recognize that there is a flexibility around that, right? Let's look at my playlist. So similar to Netflix, you can have your own, you can look at the details, you can share your playlist with other people. So these are my playlists. I can remove, add, change in there. If I want to share it, I can just go ahead and do that and give it to whoever's needed, right? We also have, as part of the social learning activity feeds, administrators have a lot of flexibility in terms of what learner can do and cannot do. If they want to sort of, proctor that, some of the contents they can as well. But the whole idea is that people collaborate, right? I can reply to, the Cassandra comments saying, yeah, right? So I can make those comments, and you can see, just like Facebook, I can look at my recent feeds, I can look at my badges, all those good things in there, right? A lot of flexibility for learner. We design it in a way that is simple, intuitive. They can get what they needed in and out, from there. I am almost done. Are there any questions from you, John?
No, no questions, but super impressed I've been following your solution now for about 10 years, and where you're at today and where you were 10 years ago is night and day. This is it is full featured. It is what you need to manage compliance and training in the government sector and in manufacturing and any health care and pharmaceutical or life science type organization. You have really thought it through, not only from a functionality standpoint, but from how good it looks and how you're able to really utilize the space well, whether you're a manager, administrator, or a learner, to get to information in a consistent way that's easy not to get lost or to stay found. I don't know what the opposite of not getting lost is. But it in a way that makes it very usable, and I can see why you're having great success in the marketplace. This fills a lot of needs, and I want to thank you for taking us through it for sure.
Yeah,
Let's see a
and
couple of
as
new
promised,
screens here. We're out of time.
Yeah. And I just wanted to show you the new UI UX for learner.
All right, cool.
Yep.
Powerful.
Yeah, so we're doing, team is working quite a bit, a lot of things in there. So, and we continue to make a difference. US team, not everybody got to join today, but, we appreciate the opportunity. And once we have the new UI UX, we will join, and we will definitely give you preview. So a lot of hard work has gone in to get to where we are. So,
yeah, definitely. Tushar, as product manager, you don't talk a whole lot, but you do a whole lot, it looks like.
Yes.
Yeah, great job, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by here to the Talented Learning Executive briefing series. This is our favorite series of content, as I mentioned at the beginning, and you can see why, because you just can't see this kind of stuff on anywhere else. So unless, of course, you do what you should do and call Viren and team if you're in the market here for a new compliance learning management system. And certainly if you're in EMEA, call Karen. She's all ready to go to talk to you all. So I can't wait to see you guys come back here in a few months and give us the update with your new release. 12 releases a year. You guys are busy. and it shows. Keep up the good work, and thanks for stopping by. We'll see
Thank you,
soon.
John. Appreciate it.
Have a great day.